things like that, sometimes, they ask for your feedback, and we kind of like shy away from that too. Like, we don't want to go ahead and give any feedback because we don't want to come off as judgmental or hurt anybody's feelings. But right now, like, why is constructive feedback good? Is because receiving constructive feedback is necessary because it creates a healthy relationship with our brothers and sisters. By us having a healthy relationship, the church environment is healthy, and it is also welcoming. We want people to grow in godliness. So God uses people to speak the truth to one another in love, and sometimes we will need to hear the critical truth to be able to grow our relationship with God. Okay. And then, so how to give constructive feedback. So our goal when giving constructive feedback is for us to help a person grow in their relationship with God and their faithfulness to God. So always be aware when taking some feedback from others, because some people might not have good intentions in giving good feedback. So some people can lack in spiritual wisdom. So like it says in James chapter 3, verse 14 through 16, it says, "But if you are bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't cover up the truth with boasting and lying. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind." So you have to be careful with, who you're with who you're trusting, and who's also like coming to you and giving you feedback. Some are also out there to hurt you, so you have to be careful. In Galatians 5:15, it says, "But if you are always biting and devouring one another, watch out, beware of destroying one another." So, brothers and sisters in church are here to lift you up, to give you positive feedback, for you to be able to have a better relationship with God. But if someone's giving you feedback, or they're just, they're bringing you down, that's not correct. They're just out there to hurt you, and you don't want that to happen, so you have to beware with who you trust. And so I'm going to go ahead and, let me see. And so basically we're going to go ahead and start with the first tip of how to how to give constructive feedback. So the first one is prayerfully. So pray before you decide to approach someone. Ask God to reveal your true motives. So ask yourself, are you angry with this person and wanting to get something off your chest? Are you just being critical in order to make yourself feel better about your own shortcomings and insecurities? So make sure that you're always praying, and also just asking yourself, like, what it is that you want to talk to this person about, what it is that you're trying to bring off your chest. Also, once you're clear with what your motives are, ask God to help you with what you would say. So a lot of the times, we might be like speak before thinking, and it's important to think what it is that you want to say, process, think about it, how you want to say it, how you want to come off. Because in Isaiah 55:11, it says, "It is the same with my word. I send it out, and it always produces fruit. It will accomplish all I want it to, and it will prosper everywhere I send it." So again, pray that what you will be saying will have that right impact towards the person that you're trying to talk to about like an issue or whatever it is that you're giving feedback to. The second tip, to continue with prayerfully, our goal is growth, to make sure that we're helping each other grow in Christ. So we're aiming to build each other up and not tear anyone down. So in 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 10, it says, "I am writing this before I come, hoping that I won't need to deal severely with you when I do come. For I want to use the authority the Lord has given me to strengthen you, not to tear you down." So like when you're speaking to someone, pray about it. That way you're not hurting anybody. Think about how it is that you want to say, because you're trying to build, each other up respectfully. When you speak to someone, pray that your words can give the other person a way to mature in Christ. So in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29, it says, "Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them." So moving on to the second tip for how to give constructive feedback is to be promptly. So don't delay the feedback. So delaying the feedback will only make it worse. So, let's say there is a situation where like someone said something, someone did something that you kind of took offense to it a little bit. Go ahead and just, talk to that person immediately. That way you can go ahead and just try to resolve that situation that you're having with that person, because it might become worse if you like leave it hanging and it continues to like build up. So it may become worse because a person is not aware of their faults or shortcomings. So, it's better to like make that person aware if they like said something inappropriately or just something that they shouldn't have said, or if they did something to you that you didn't, think it was correct, or just anything really. Just it's better to just talk to them as soon as possible. That way you can go ahead and just resolve that situation. And especially because you will be able to explain specific instances of the problematic behavior. And also when you're talking to someone about like the situation, the issue, also bring suggestions on how someone can improve or what can be improved as well. I think that's like important when talking to someone, not just being like just giving them feedback, but also being encouraging, and also having like or suggesting any improvements that can be brought into the person's life. So it is important to let others know what needs to change and what they should keep doing. So going ahead, for the third tip, it's personally. So go directly to that person. Don't go talking to others about the situation before addressing it to the person that you want to. A lot of us know here that, gossiping is a big no-no. So just make sure that you're going to that person directly and just resolving it with that person instead of going to your friends and talking about something that's like someone did to you at church or something that someone said. Instead, just go to that person. That way you guys can go ahead and resolve the issue one-on-one. And of course, be respectful when addressing it. So respectfully addressing the instances where you have seen an issue or problem. Go ahead and also be clear as possible. So think about the issue that you were speaking about, and ask yourself, like, are you speaking about a sin issue or personality issue? Is this a big deal or something that could become a big deal? So go ahead and just ask those questions, reflect, and see what it is that you want to talk to that person about. Always be respectful and have it be one-on-one. Don't talk to others about the situation, because then it just becomes a big deal. So it's just better to go ahead and just talk to that person on one-on-one. And right now I went ahead and for the next slide, I put a picture of how you can come up to a person. Let me see. Oh, there you go. So how you can go ahead and come up to a person if you need to talk to someone about how you're feeling. So for example, don't just say you're rude. Go ahead and find a way of rewarding it. So for example, find a way of being respectful and say, I know you have good ideas, but I've noticed that you tend to cut people off when they're talking. I'm not sure if you caught yourself doing this, but it can make people feel like you don't want to hear what they have to say. So again, being clear with your feedback will help make sure to get to the heart of the issue. So on the picture, it says, here's a handy 5-step formula for expressing feedback in everyday situations. So this can be, here at church, or even in your personal life at home or with your friends. If someone says something, you can go ahead and explain, describe the behavior to the person. So that's number one, when blank happens, so go ahead and describe the behavior. 2, I feel like, so go ahead and, you can add how you feel, describe your reaction. 3, because, so explain why you feel this way, and then you can go ahead and have a conversation between that. And then 4, what I imagine is a 4th one. So if possible, show that you understand what's behind their behavior. And lastly, what I prefer is, so suggest a different way. So again, suggest any improvements, or also you can be encouraging, but like I had mentioned, you can bring suggestions for improvements for the 5th one. And lastly, for the 4th tip for how to give constructive feedback, it's privately. So when giving constructive feedback, make sure that no one is around that can hear the feedback. sometimes when, we're getting some constructive feedback, sometimes we might be embarrassed with what it is that, they're giving us feedback of what it is, like whatever topic it is, we might like not want other people to hear because, it's like our business. So just make sure that if you're ever giving constructive feedback to anyone, that you make sure that it's just, again, like one-on-one and that no one's around hearing what it is that you're telling the person. Second is if you give someone feedback and there's a lot of people around, that person might not be able to like intake the feedback, so they might not be paying attention because they're kind of just looking around to see like who's listening, and they're not focusing to what you have to say. So just be aware about that. 3, don't be disappointed if the person does not embrace the feedback right away. Sometimes the truth is too painful and some people need time to process. So it's okay that, if you're giving someone feedback and they're not really like applying it, it takes, everyone's different, everyone processes everything differently, and you just have to remember that love is patient, like what it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4. So remember that some habits or sin take time to be corrected, especially when there are deep-rooted heart issues. And God is patient with us, therefore we should also be patient with our brothers and sisters that we're giving feedback to, because we're trying to help them out. So we just have to be patient with the way that everything's going. And lastly, express your care and support and leave the rest to God is what we can go ahead and do. So that was 4 tips on how to give constructive feedback. And next, we're going to go ahead and, let me see. Can you go back 1 slide, please? Okay, perfect. So how to receive constructive feedback. So a lot of the time, it's hard to like receive constructive feedback. So, we might not like enjoy it as much, but it is important, especially if you're like a leader at church or you're serving in church, like it's important to have that feedback. So we must learn how to receive input, especially if it's beneficial for our walk with the Lord. So next I'm going to go ahead and explain the tips of how to receive constructive feedback. So we're going to be going over listen, look, learn, and leave. So the next one is listen. So basically, when someone's giving you any constructive feedback, make sure that I'm so sorry. Okay, listen. So make sure that you're not disrupting with an explanation of your behavior or with any excuses. Just go ahead and listen to what it is that the person is talking to you about. Make sure you're listening and just let them explain everything. In Proverbs chapter 15 verse 31, it says, if you listen to constructive criticism, you will be at home among the wise. So, it's just talking about how, like, if you're, intaking and listening to that feedback, you become more wise because, you're learning, how to have a better relationship with God. And also, don't get defensive because a lot of the times, we have to hear the truth. Sometimes, it is hard to listen to someone who's telling us the truth, but it's better to hear it from someone like our leaders than to hear it from like someone else, or kind of to learn the hard way and to like get heard about it like later in the road. So yeah, be hungry to grow as well. So in Proverbs chapter 12 verses 1, it says, to learn you must love discipline. It is stupid to hate correction. So it is good to be corrected by God, and ask God to help you with the feedback that people are giving you. Ask him to make you stronger through being humbled by the help that other people are trying to give you. The second tip is look. So, so look to see if there's any truth with the feedback being given to you, and also be honest with yourself. If like that person is giving you feedback and it's true, but you're trying to like deny it. Like, no, be honest with yourself and be like, yeah, no, like I need to work on that. So yeah, be honest with yourself. And assume that you need to be correct. If a leader's coming up to you and they're giving you feedback, it's for a reason. They've noticed something, so it is a reason that you're being corrected. And on Proverbs 25 verse 12, it says, to ones who listen, valid criticism is like a gold earring or gold jewelry. And also in Proverbs chapter 12 verse 15, it says, Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to others. Don't be afraid of the feedback that, you're getting back from like a leader or someone at church. Don't be afraid of the truth because it will set you free. So yeah, so like if someone pulls you aside one day because like they notice something, like go ahead and just, understand what it is that, you have to understand what it is that they're telling you, the feedback that they're giving you. Because like it says in these verses that the ones who get to listen are like the gold jewelry, and it's better to be like the gold jewelry than like some fake jewelry, right? Like it's better to like listen and to go ahead and improve in our lives, especially if we want to have a better relationship with God, and we become wiser by in taking that feedback into our lives and to actually listen to a leader who's telling us from like right and wrong as well. Let's see, the next one is to learn. So in Proverbs 9:9, it says, instruct the wise and they will be even wiser. Teach the righteous and they will learn even more. So again, be open to new ways of behaving. So be open to the feedback that the leaders are giving you, and also thank those who are helping you grow and for the feedback that they might be giving you. And also like have a conversation. If they pull you aside and they're giving you feedback, like you can ask for any suggestions, any examples to help you understand better. A lot of the times, like if a leader is going to talk to you, they're probably going to bring like Bible verses of what it says in the Bible, because everything like in the Bible has to always like correlate with stuff that we're going through in life, and things that we did. Like they're going to be like, here, like this is what the Bible verse says, like this can help you out in how to change and how to be better and how to have a relationship with God. So ask for those suggestions, ask for those Bible verses and examples of how to be able to improve your relationship with God. So you can ask for any, you can clarify for any questions. And again, like I mentioned, all of this will help with a conversation which helps you grow as a person in your relationship with God. And the fourth one is leave. So there is going to be sometimes people in life that would criticize you, and sometimes it's like older people that, they might look at the younger generation, be like criticizing you for like no reason, and this is different from like receiving any feedback. So if you're ever like in a situation where like someone that isn't a leader that, you trust or something like that is kind of criticizing you for something, just be aware of that, and be aware of like if this is feedback, if this is constructive feedback, or if it's criticism. So go ahead and don't let those negative criticism that someone might be telling you to affect your emotions, because you don't want to kind of like dwell on what it is that someone told you or someone like did to you, whatever. You don't want to go ahead and dwell on that, and you don't want it to like penetrate in your soul, your mind, will, or emotions, because then you kind of just you kind of close off, and you're not being the person that you can be, which is like a better person. If you're in the walk with the Lord, you kind of just start believing all those lies and criticism, and basically you're believing the devil, and we shouldn't be doing that. So always believe what it is that God has to tell you, what those leaders have to tell you, all those positive constructive feedback that the leaders have for you. So just be aware of that. And just simply, if you're ever, someone's giving you any criticism, just make sure that you just thank them. Go ahead and just handle it, gracefully, and just thank them for the criticism, or just thank them for whatever it is that they're telling you. But just be aware of like the feedback and criticism. It's pretty different. So yeah, so learn how to also handle feedback and thank those who are truly helping you. And lastly, everything that we do is for God's glory, So whether it is that we're giving feedback to others, or we're also taking the feedback. Like it says in 1 Corinthians 10:31, so whether you eat or drink or whatever it is that you do it all for the glory of God. So in the end, like our goal is to aim in giving, receiving, and applying feedback that will help us as a person, to grow as a person, also to grow in our relationship with God, and to see God clearly in our lives. So I'll go ahead and leave you guys with that. And next week is going to be part 3, and that is solid. Oh my gosh, I can't say it. Solidifying your support system. Sorry, I could say it, but like I'm nervous, so I'm just like, okay. I don't know if Tracy has something to say. We're good? Okay, sounds good. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that the last part on Wednesday, but now we can go ahead and take any petition